Welcome to the finale of What If Naruto Made a Deal with Bill Cipher. If you guys go on to enjoy this part, then I'm pretty sure you guys will also enjoy the counterpart version of this, a My Hero Academia style version of What If Deku Made a Deal with Bill Cipher. It's another YouTuber that's, relatively small in subs, but he has amazing storytelling, and I would genuinely appreciate it if you guys were to go give the man a chance, check out his what ifs, and help him continue making consistent videos every day. That said, enjoy.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
Naruto from there pretty much goes on to go towards the direction of Kakashi, as Kakashi looks to Naruto and nods, and Naruto just gets on the railing and watches Sasuke's battle go down. After this, every single other battle that would have happened in the original goes down, and when Naruto sees Hinata about to essentially get hit by Neji, Naruto immediately goes on to stop time and hit Neji back, like sending him flying to the walls of the Chunin exams area, right? Then Naruto unfreezes time and simply Neji is just on the ground, as the Jonin didn't even get time to react fast enough, right? Naruto then just kind of walks away from the Chunin exams areas, as that would have been the final match and everything would have been called for the next matches in 1 month's time. Now, obviously, this is around the period of time that Naruto in the original would go on to meet Jiraiya, and things would kind of begin falling down like dominoes, exactly the way that they would in the Naruto storyline. Sasuke goes off to train with Kakashi, and Kakashi tells Naruto that Sasuke needs this training more than he does, so he's going to be focusing on Sasuke, telling him to do his best and that he can't wait to watch them both face off in the Chunin exams finals. Naruto nods his head, thinking that no matter how much training Sasuke does, he'll never beat him, but he's just going to give him the victory anyways. Actually, but as he thinks that, Bill comes in his mind and goes, "What? Give him the victory? You can't do that." And Naruto just looks to him and goes, I was just thinking it'd be the nice thing to do. Bill then goes on to say that it's not about the nice thing to do, it's about their plans. And he made a deal, remember? He tells Naruto that their deal was set in stone and that Naruto has to follow the conditions, remember? Naruto then looks to Bill and asks if this is one of the favors, and Bill says exactly, you need to win in the Chunin exams and get promoted to Jonin. This is a favor, Naruto, you need to comply. Naruto immediately looks to Bill and says, you know what, for you, I'd move heaven and earth, so I'll get it done. And Bill then, kind of calms down, shrinks down his size, and then looks to Naruto and tells him, so, what kind of training are you thinking of doing, Naruto? Naruto looks to Bill and just goes, training? Honestly, I wasn't even thinking of training. But Bill just looks back to the direction of Naruto and tells him, right, so what are you thinking of doing then? Naruto just looks away up to the sky and sees a little poster up. Like it's like a, how do I put this? It's a gigantic poster of an ad on it. It's an ad. Oh my god, it's the things that you see on the freeway, right? Basically, Naruto looks up and sees this gigantic poster that pretty much says some slight clothing on it. And Naruto's like, some slight clothing? And yeah, that's where today's video sponsor comes in. If you guys have ever wanted some dope anime shorts, then you guys could definitely go check out Some Slight Clothing. They make the dopest designs ranging from Demon Slayer, One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, and I think that's pretty much it. But trust me guys, their designs are simply so dope and so recognizable to the average fan that it's so nice to buy yourself a pair of these. I mean, they're great for conversation starters, they fit great, they're comfortable, and using my code ZETHER at checkout, you guys can save 10% off these already affordable shorts that will run only $35. And I'm telling you, for the quality and the way that these things look, it is more than worth it. I currently own about 10 pairs of them, and I'm gonna pop a picture up of the ones that I own right here. And also before this should have been a couple of pictures of the designs that they offer. So if you guys are interested, definitely make sure to check the first link down below in the description, which will have their company down there, so you guys can check out the shorts yourselves. But with that all out of the way, let's get back into the what if. Jumping back into the story, right? We end up basically seeing Naruto going to the hot springs thinking that he was just gonna relax, right? Once he makes it close, he sees some pervy old guy peeking on the girls, and Naruto thinks it would be funny to pretty much flick his fingers and make it so that Jiraiya is naked and thrown into the girls, the women's area, right? Jiraiya immediately gets plopped in there naked, and all of them begin screaming, going, "What?" You know what I mean? Like they're all freaking out, and Jiraiya just like he has a nosebleed, an insane nosebleed, as he's like, you know what I mean? And then Naruto just pretty much poofs him back out with all of his clothes on. As Jiraiya looks to Naruto and goes, "Did you do that?" Naruto then says, "Sure did, buddy. What are you gonna do about it?" Jiraiya then begins to profusely thank Naruto, and Naruto's like, "What? Like, shouldn't you be mad?" Jiraiya's like, "Seriously? That made my entire year, bro. Like, appreciate it. I wanted to get a closer look, but I couldn't just drop in there myself, right? Your little ability, it saved me some embarrassment because it was against my will, right?" Naruto looks to him and goes, "Right." And suddenly Jiraiya just kind of begins to talk to Naruto, and I guess you could say begin forming a bond with him. Suddenly, over the next couple of days that they have until the final fight, Naruto just spends all of his time with Jiraiya, hanging out and pretty much breaking himself out of this cocoon that he set for himself and beginning to actually enjoy his life, beginning to enjoy the world that he lives in. Finally, these thoughts begin to slowly begin irritating Bill because it was to his understanding that he was going to be launching the Weirdmageddon in this alternate universe. But if Naruto doesn't comply, he'll just take over anyways. Naruto just begins to essentially continue befriending Jiraiya, and they both end up developing a very grandpa and grandson relationship where Naruto's having a blast with Jiraiya and just pretty much getting a hint of the things that he missed out on growing up, not having anybody there to care for him at all. Like Naruto grew up basically by himself. Water break. Water be hitting different when you talk for as long as I have into a mic. Anyways, though, so what basically ends up happening after this situation is Naruto now begins to realize that he finally has ties to this village. He has Jiraiya, he has Kakashi, he kind of has Sasuke, and he doesn't want to admit it, but he has Sakura. I mean, he used to have a crush on her, and, he then started hating her, but now he can sort of stand her. He also has Iruka, who just doesn't hate him anymore, just due to the fact that Naruto, he just wasn't the same goofball that he was in the original. So Iruka's cool with Naruto, and he's actually treated him to ramen every now and then, even when he was in his emo-ish state, not stite. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, so let's see here. What happens next? Oh, right. Naruto begins to essentially get these thoughts of pretty much enjoying himself here. And it's at this moment that Bill would begin to kind of see a little bit of cracks begin to form in his plan. He's not exactly enjoying this, but it's at this moment that we kind of get the sequence of events that are finally bringing us towards the finale to actually come into play. Obviously, we have the battle between Naruto and Neji, which I'm pretty much going to just be stating that Naruto goes on to fondle Neji like a little schoolgirl. Hold on, what? And basically go on to essentially pick this man up with his telekinesis and tickle his balls, you know what I'm saying? And Neji just passes out of laughter, right? Everybody's wondering why Neji was laughing, but Neji was literally getting choked. Hey yo, Neji was pretty much just getting lifted with telekinesis, and Naruto was, yeah, right. So basically what ends up happening is we then jump to the battle between Sasuke and Gaara. That still happens just like it would originally, and then we suddenly get a moment where Naruto is sent off to save Sasuke like he would have in the Chunin exams. Naruto flies off towards the direction of Sasuke, and it's at this moment that Naruto would go on to essentially erase Gaara from existence. He was a threat to the village that he lives in, so Naruto was not about to let this slide. The two Sand siblings would arrive only to see their brother gone from existence, as well as the One-Tails, and Naruto would look back to Sasuke, telling him if he's alright. Sasuke slaps Naruto's hand out of the way and tells him he could have handled that himself. And Naruto then looks to Sasuke, and says, "I know you would have. I just wanted to steal the credit from you." As Sasuke looks back to Naruto with a smirk on his face and says, "Yeah, you better not be thinking you're stronger than me already." As Naruto just looks back to Sasuke and starts chuckling with him and just goes, "We'll see, we'll see." Suddenly, Sasuke kind of feels a bit of his rage begin to slowly quiet down, with Naruto not acting cocky or acting like he's better than him at all, if anything, acting like real rivals. So Sasuke's hatred kind of is quelled for the moment. Eventually, we get the news of Hiruzen's death after a little bit of time, and Naruto finding out that Hiruzen died didn't actually cause anything. Naruto continued his life to day-to-day activities like nothing had happened, until eventually Jiraiya sensei arrives to his door and tells him, "Hey kid, we're going on a mission, pack your bags." Naruto immediately just is like, okay, and they go off to pretty much find Tsunade. Naruto goes on to essentially learn the Rasengan Jutsu, and essentially during this time that he would have been in the apartment after Jiraiya went off to do some research, Naruto was left alone to face off against Kisame and Itachi Uchiha. The second that he opened the door and saw both of them, he immediately asked, "So, what you guys doing here?" And Kisame just lunges at Naruto and kicks him in the gut, sending him flying, crashing out of the building. Kisame and Itachi find themselves outside, slowly walking towards Naruto, and it's suddenly at this moment that Naruto freezes time and tells Kisame that he's gonna regret that. He flips the insides of Kisame inside out, so Kisame's like flesh and like blood and bones are on the outside, while his outside part is on the inside. And Kisame begins to internally scream, but you can't hear anything because his mouth is literally flipped inside out. So it's like Kisame is just dying. Itachi, seeing this, immediately wonders what is even going on, and it's at this moment that Naruto just looks to Itachi and says, "You must be Sasuke's little brother, or sorry, big brother," as he begins to speak to Itachi, asking him what he thinks he's doing here trying to capture him. Itachi then goes on to say that it's just a mission by the Akatsuki, that there's no hard feelings, asking him if there's any way that his teammate will survive that attack. Naruto looks back to him and says there's no way he'll survive that. And Itachi just says, "I figured as much." Suddenly, he then goes on to pretty much begin asking Naruto what Sasuke is, and knowing that he's pretty much about to die and that there's nothing he could do about it, he tries to use Genjutsu as a last-ditch effort. But Naruto in the Genjutsu world would look to Itachi with a smile as he grows 100 times the size, pretty much the size of like a mountain, and goes on to slam his fist down on Itachi, killing him in the Genjutsu world, which causes him to pretty much wake up, and suddenly Naruto and Itachi are both in the normal plane of existence, where Naruto goes on to ask Itachi if he wants to die this way or that way. Itachi then looks to Naruto and tells him that if before he kills him to do him a favor and tell Sasuke some things. Naruto looks to Itachi and begins listening, and Itachi pretty much begins spewing everything, like telling Naruto everything, causing Naruto to be like, "Hold on now, that's crazy. So you joined that group, but you're really part of the Leaf Village?" And Itachi just looks to him and nods, and time has stopped, keep in mind. So it's like Jiraiya is not even anywhere nearby, and Sasuke is already on his way there. Naruto looks back to Itachi and tells him that he's gonna let him go, but not to ever dare interfere with the Leaf Village, and that he'll come for him when the time is right. Naruto then proceeds to essentially let Itachi out. Sasuke comes out, and suddenly Itachi fills him with this feeling of hatred, right? Naruto, seeing this, would pretty much reverse the effects, and Itachi leaves with Jiraiya arriving, saving the day on time, and Tsunade is returned to the village to essentially begin healing all the wounded who got hurt during the attack on Konoha. After this, we essentially get a period in time where Sasuke is actually not trying to leave the Leaf Village, because Naruto pretty much ended up manipulating his mind into making him stop with the hatred and all this emo stuff of just power, power, power. He told Sasuke he'll grant him that power, but he has to stay in the village. And Sasuke got exactly what he wanted, so why would he ever leave the village? Suddenly, we get a 2-year time skip, and we see Bill inside of the mind of Naruto, counting down the seconds, right? He's counting, and suddenly the clock hits the perfect time. Bill's powers took a while to return, but they're finally back, and now Bill can finally truly control Naruto. So he ends up pretty much telling Naruto that he now has to, complete that little favor of his, which is essentially to launch Weirdmageddon on the planet that they're currently on at this moment. But Naruto doesn't want to. At this moment, he's already gained bonds with other people around him, but Bill grows in size, darkening in color with his eye becoming red as he looks to Naruto and tells him that he doesn't have a choice, telling him that he either agrees or dies. As Naruto looks to Bill and tells him if there's any other deal that they could make, that Naruto would do anything other than destroy this universe. Bill begins thinking, and suddenly he looks to Naruto before telling him that if he helps him destroy another universe and regain his power in another plane of existence, he'll leave this universe alone, and only this universe alone. Naruto looks to Bill, just thinks to all of his friends and wonders what the right choice would be, what Jiraiya would want him to do, but Naruto then immediately just lets Bill do what he wants, realizing that Bill was never his friend all along. He was just using him as an agenda to get what he wanted. And Naruto asks Bill if that's the case. Bill tells him it is, and Naruto gets a saddened expression on his face as he wonders if any of those years spent together meant anything to Bill. Bill laughs and goes on to tell Naruto that he's been alive for billions of millennia, so he has no idea how short of a time of waiting that truly was for him, saying that he's been trapped in the nightmare realm for far too long, and the one time that he got to get out and play, his fun was ruined by some kids. Going on to tell Naruto that it's about time that they get their little revenge. And suddenly, Naruto's consciousness and body would essentially begin to rise up into the air as Bill begins to essentially open a wormhole to another universe entirely, the one which Gravity Falls resides in. And once they arrive, Naruto looks around to the area to see everything look different, futuristic almost, not as much, but it looks as if people have evolved somewhat. Naruto then sees a car coming in, which is the little golf cart, and Mabel and Dipper are on there. They're about 16 years old now, returning to Gravity Falls for another fun summer, as Bill just looks towards the direction and just says, "Hey buddies, you ready to party again?" And Naruto just looks at the direction of these kids' faces as he sees the pure horror in them. But Naruto just has to play along with Bill and stand side by side with him as he rises to the surface and essentially begins to use his magic to pretty much begin to toy with the world, beginning to slowly essentially begin destroying it and rushing down to the portal room that Ford had made to essentially pull the levers and everything and pretty much activate the portal for other creatures of Weirdmageddon to essentially arrive to this planet once again. Naruto is now forced to essentially help Bill with the conquering of the planet and finally get his revenge over Dipper and Mabel. And Naruto is successful in Bill's endeavor, helping him to actually destroy the universe of Gravity Falls. But after Bill does so, he then looks to Naruto and throws him a bone, right? Naruto catches it and asks if there's anything else he could do before returning. And Bill says, "Oh, yeah. Keep that portal open." Naruto looks to Bill and asks, "Wait, what?" And Bill looks to him and says, "Did you really think I would spare your universe? No, I'm taking over all of them. The entire multiverse." You know what I mean? He just starts laughing. The monsters behind him begin to chuckle as well. And Naruto looks to Bill as he says, "You lied to me. You tricked me. I helped you destroy their entire world for you to stab me in the back." And Bill just begins to laugh and say, "Look, I tricked Sixer, so now I'm going to trick you as well, Whiskers." As, he returns Naruto back to how he once was without any powers. And Naruto is standing there with nothing but chakra, genjutsu, and taijutsu to stand up to Bill. He looks to Bill's direction and essentially just gives up. He's not even going to try to fight Bill. He knows the power that he has. He's just accepted that his universe is doomed. But then he thinks, wait, how would he get to my universe if he doesn't have access to it through me? He then looks towards the direction of Bill and asks him how exactly he plans to get to the other universe. And Bill just goes on to explain that as long as he has one thing of the previous universe in this one, he can travel along as far as he wants, saying that his powers increase gradually the longer that he's pretty much alive, stating that pretty soon after this entire universe is conquered, he'll go after his. He'll probably be long dead, but it's gonna happen. And Naruto just looks towards the direction of Bill before stating that that can't happen if he does this. Naruto takes out a blade and just commits seppuku in front of Bill and all the monsters, as Bill just reverses time and says, "Nice try, buddy, but that's not gonna work. I'm taking over your universe and everything else that follows. Good luck trying to stop me, kid. Remember, the universe is a hologram."